نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال في مقام آخر: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. وقال في مقام آخر: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, in Surah Al-Fajr, He swears by the Fajr, by the dawn. Wal-Fajr, wa-layalin ashr, and by the 10 nights. And the scholars mention here regarding wa-layalin ashr, it is referring to the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah and the 10 nights of Ramadan, the last 10 nights of Ramadan. These are the best 10 days and 10 nights of the year. And alhamdulillah, we have arrived at the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Inshallah, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah will follow this blessed month in just about a little under 3 months. But we are here now in the last 10 nights, which are the best 10 nights of the entire year. You cannot do something where it will be rewarded more in a night except that you do it in these last 10 nights of Ramadan. And tonight also happens to be an odd night. We had our first odd night 2 nights ago, the night of the 21st, but tonight will be the 23rd night. So try to increase yourself once again in some extra ibadah tonight. If you usually do 2 rak'ahs, then maybe you can do 4 tonight. If you do 6 and 8, or maybe you can pull an all-nighter if you're able to. Whatever extra you're able to do, inshallah, it will be recorded on your scales for your good deeds, inshallah. Our Prophet ﷺ also told us to look for Laylatul Qadr during these last 10 nights. It can be any of these last 10 nights, and then more specifically and more probably, they are in the last 10 odd nights. And tonight, once again, happens to be an odd night. So it could be the night of Laylatul Qadr tonight. And as you know, Laylatul Qadr is a very special night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned about in the Quran, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. The night of power is better than 1,000 months, which comes out to roughly 83 years and some change. So imagine if you were to catch this night of Laylatul Qadr, it's as if you worshipped Allah for 83 years. That's amazing. Some of us may not even live till 83. May Allah grant you all a long life, and if you happen to live till 83, may you make it a life where you perform lots of righteous and good deeds. But 83 years is no joke, and you can learn that by just observing ibadah in these last few nights. So take advantage of this opportunity, just like we take advantage of things in life, of good deals in life. This is a great opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowing for His servants to get every single Ramadan, for those who make it. Remember, it's a blessing, first of all, just to arrive to this month. And now it's another blessing to arrive in these last 10 nights. We had someone from our community, pass away just recently, just a couple nights ago. So, you don't know how long, you'll be on this earth. Even before this whole COVID thing, obviously you can throw in the COVID and say, COVID, we could go at any time. But the reality is, even before COVID, and even after COVID, when this whole thing is finished, the reality is you can go at any time. Obviously COVID's a threat to some specifically, especially those that are immunocompromised and those that are elderly. But nevertheless, we're always here on this earth not knowing when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take us. We ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us a long life in which we perform righteous deeds. Remember, that's very important. Don't ever ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a long life without asking Him for a long life in which you perform righteous deeds, because He could grant you a long life, but if you end up disobeying Allah and His Messenger throughout your life, then you didn't live much of a life. In fact, that long life could end up cursing you and be a form of leading you to destruction in the hereafter. So always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, grant us long lives in which we perform righteous deeds that are pleasing to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here we are in these last 10 nights. What should we do? There's so many things you can do. Obviously we have the Taraweeh prayers. You can perform those in your house. We have Qiyam. You can just continue to make rak'ah after rak'ah over and over. You can recite the Quran. This is the month of the Quran. Shahru Ramadan, Shahru Quran. The month of Ramadan is the month of the Quran. So if you haven't made a khatam yet, then perhaps you can get going right now. I've seen random brothers, not hufaz of the Quran. I still remember when I was a kid one day, I rolled up in the masjid, I think it was the 27th night, and this uncle that I know, he was sitting there reading Quran, and he turns and he looks at me and he says, I just read my 7th juz right now. Subhanallah. Meaning in that night, he read 7 juz, and he wasn't done. He was still continuing his recitation. So, read Quran. Maybe you can just read the meaning. You can read 7 juz of the meaning of the Quran. This is also beneficial, but there's also benefit in reciting it in the language it was revealed, because remember, this is the language of the Quran, and this is the way it was revealed, but it's also important to know the meaning as well. So maybe you can do a combination of both. Another thing you can do tonight is maybe listen to some lectures. We're going to have some programs for you all tonight, starting of course at 9 p.m. tonight with our nightly khatara. We're on hadith number 23. So tune in for that. You can start your night off at that. And we might even have some programs later in the night. We'll let you know that are taking place locally in our community. We can connect you with those programs too. So perhaps you can listen to a lecture throughout the night. These will take place throughout the night, inshallah, so that you stay engaged and stay within some form of ibadah. You are performing some form of ibadah. Remember, listening to a lecture for the sake of Allah, trying to attain knowledge, this is also a form of ibadah. So inshallah, we'll try to offer as many alternatives or ways to make this night beneficial for you as much as possible. Tonight's the 23rd. We have the 25th night on Sunday night, and then of course the 27th night, the very popular 27th night that some of the companions actually swore was the night of power, will be on Tuesday night, and then the last odd night will be next Thursday, the 29th night. So, try to do the best you can here, inshallah. Another thing you can do to also increase yourself in ibadah, we mentioned recitation of the Quran, we mentioned salawat, we mentioned listening to lectures, and also giving. Giving is also a very virtuous deed that we forget about sometimes, especially during the night. We have the ability now to give online. This is one of the blessings of technology today. You could be sitting in your house, in your own bedroom, and you can give sadaqah on the spot. So, as you all know, we have a Launch Good page. We're trying to get to a certain goal. So, maybe you can give a few bucks tonight to help us reach that goal for the masjid. We're not there yet, so we need your help to get there, inshallah. We're almost there, but we still need some more help from our community. Remember, and this is to cover the expenses of the masjid. Even though the masjid is closed during COVID, the expenses are still there. So, just like every year, you guys always take care of it, and I have no doubt you will do the same this year as well, inshallah ta'ala. But with that, I encourage all of you to do something extra tonight, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's an extra supplication that you normally don't make. Do something a little extra, and who knows, maybe it's just because that extra effort you decided to make on this blessed night, knowing that it was a blessed night, and perhaps Laylatul Qadr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you, the reward of offering worship on Laylatul Qadr. And as you all know, our Prophet ﷺ also mentioned another great reward for observing Laylatul Qadr. He mentioned, "Man qama Laylatul Qadr imanan wa ihtisaban, ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi." Or kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam, whoever stands for the night of power, their sins will be forgiven. So this is a great opportunity once again, not only to reap reward, but also get our sins forgiven. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us some energy tonight. May He give us some extra strength and allow us to do something extra that we typically do not do. May He allow us to observe that night of power, whether it's tonight or the next few odd nights. But may He give us the energy and power to stand for each one of those nights, inshallah ta'ala. May He subhanahu wa ta'ala send His blessings upon all of you and your families and keep you safe during these difficult times. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. One of the things you should supplicate with in these last 10 nights that was taught to us by Prophet ﷺ when his own wife asked him, Aisha radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers, he said to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So make sure you make this supplication throughout these last 10 nights, because it is something specifically the Prophet ﷺ advised us to supplicate with. O Allah, you are Afu, the one who forgives, who pardons. Tuhibbul Afw, and you love pardoning, you love forgiving. It is your quality. It is a natural quality of you, O Allah. And we learn it from you. Fa'fu anni, so forgive me. So it's a great way of, inshallah, seeking the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and completing the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So with that, I will close today's khutbah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again allow us to maximize our benefit in these last 10 nights, starting with tonight, inshallah, if you didn't already in the previous nights. And may He allow us to see many more Ramadans, and may He eradicate this virus that has been ravaging the earth for the past few months, and may He allow us to return to some normalcy and fill His houses, the masajid of Allah, like the way we used to. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وانصر الإسلام وأهله في كل مكان. اللهم ثبت أقدامنا، اللهم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك، ولا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. Ya Allah, oh Allah, we ask you to keep us on a straight path, strengthen our hearts on our deen, and keep us strong during this difficult time, and let us not sway and get depressed and frustrated to the point where we forget our obligations to you, where our belief goes down, our iman gets weakened, but rather make this a time where our iman strengthens and we perform all our obligations to you. And not only that, but also in addition to that, we perform many more sunnahs and supererogatory acts that are pleasing to you. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allah, we ask you to accept from all of us, forgive us, and accept into paradise those that have passed away, especially from this COVID disease. Allah, we ask you to accept them as shuhada. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And we ask you for protection from it, for our families, our parents, and especially those that are most vulnerable. Ameen ya Allah. And Allah, once again we ask you to please eradicate this disease from the face of the earth and allow us to resume to normalcy. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inna kunna min adh-dhalimin. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina